So what would y'all say the main goal is with the paint project, the Arkansas paint project?
Not only to beautify, but to help heal our community.
Yeah, there's so much to say about it, but the biggest part is that funding for things, and we go outside and we don't get to see murals simply because it's too expensive, resources, time, etc. And we all deserve that. I think that we all deserve it. Doesn't matter where we're at in Arkansas or anywhere, but that's a huge problem that I think that we should face, not should face together, but we can. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help tackle that part of it, is getting it out there, especially the finance part.
Is there a specific town in Arkansas people may have been to that have a lot of these murals that you're kind of using as inspiration?
Um, well, actually, our inspiration came from a TED Talk.
Really?
Yes. It was a couple of, I don't know, Beau always says that they're Finnish people.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
from
they're
Finland.
Swedish. They're Scandinavian folks.
They said that they make fun in the video. They said in Finland we have rules for everything. That's why they.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I deducted that they're from Finland.
I've been to Finland. I know what those people are like.
So this TED Talk, these two guys get together. It's a huge organization. I don't want to undersell this, so I'm going to I'm going to summarize a lot. But essentially, they set out to make these giant paint projects to help heal and bring communities together, and it worked way better than they ever anticipated. But not only that, they didn't do anything they originally set out to do. They didn't do much of the painting. They got there and they encountered different problems, and I noticed myself in the problems that, as we were listening to this TED Talk, I noticed myself in those problems. They actually ended up going to areas, having barbecues, and just telling the community about their ideas, and the community did it for them. I mean, they helped. They were very involved, but they ended up at the beginning of these 5 years that they did this. I mean, they did something in Philadelphia too. I'll get the names or a link or whatever, but from the business plan model from the beginning to the end was so dramatic that the end was they ended up just going into areas, renting a place, and started a barbecue. And they really had a generalized plan that they involved the community, and the community did it. And there's a lot of healing in there.
Yeah, there was less crime. Um, I don't know. It just brought the community closer. So much more cohesiveness.
Less, yeah, probably because they have these things to. Why do you think that is? Because they have these things to be proud of together. These murals.
Absolutely,
Mine.
absolutely. Yeah,
Ours.
it's something that they put together. It was like it's kind of like a big problem solving kind of thing.
I like to think of myself too. Someone came to my home and was just fired up, creativity, and been like, "Hey, man, I'm here to help you do this thing to your home." Really try to put yourself in that position to where, once you get past the suspicion, you'd be fired up too. Especially if they want your input. They're like, "Let's clean up your neighborhood. Let's get this going. Let's do this. I'm here to help." And once you realize they're here to help, and you're in charge, it's like, "Oh, this is my community."
Yeah, yeah. The guys, they were very genuine. They were incredibly genuine with all the work that they were putting.
The TED Talk guys.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think the first step is? You've already made a few first steps, but getting that acceptance or getting that first project launched, whatever it is in this area, y'all's general plan. And plans, they may not go according to plan. You may pivot, figure out different pathways as it goes to.
It's kind of trial and error, like getting things to line up because we've already had a couple little small things just fall through, or trying to find an artist to paint a garage door, for instance. It's some people may say like, "Oh, hey, I want this. I want to do this," and then perhaps they find out like this is too big of a project, or I've got too many irons in the fire. So we don't know if really that's the case, but that's been one of our challenges so far. But anybody that we talk to, even if it is about painting garage doors or any other buildings, everyone is incredibly excited. And usually, like when you have a new great idea, people are like, they have a lot of negative things to say. What about this and what about this? And a lot of like when we go around explaining about the Arkansas Paint Project, people are like, holy crap, this is Like, I'm excited for you to get it started, and also let's get it started. Let's see what we can do. So I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, yeah. Are y'all looking for artists right now to do a garage door? Very specifically, you have a garage door in mind.
We have several garage doors, and as we explain it to people, especially people that want their home involved, they're like, "Well, how do we get that involved?" And we're like, "Well, we're not quite open. We're almost there, but we've got to find our
Right.
artists, and they're everywhere. We just got to know how to tap into that, and we're not trying to. We're just got to know how to tap into it, and I don't know that yet.
Well, I think step one is
Yeah.
doing stuff like this. You know, just making content to get out in front of people. The amount of people I've met for just doing this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep going. So a lot of people. Well, my first thought, Bill, when you first told me about this, was it sounds awesome, but like, how do you grow? Not how do you fund a nonprofit to make these things happen?
You hold your breath.
Take a big leap.
Yeah. Uh, it's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty scary. The idea though is to be genuine, and I don't. One of my biggest fears, one of our fears, is that we may not be the right people for this, and by that I mean that this idea I believe is golden, and I don't mean to compliment myself. I just think that with the right person, right people behind this, holy cow. Okay, so can I be that right person? Can we be that right people, be those right people? And that's the scary part. So I'm not too scared about it failing because I don't think it will fail. I'm more scared of me. I don't know, just not performing like I need to for this nonprofit.
You're scared that you might fail.
That I might not be up to the
Yeah.
whole task.
Yeah. It's interesting. I think a lot of people that are doing their own thing, entrepreneurs, business owners, I think that's a common
Yeah.
feeling people have. Like, it's a lot of responsibility. But
Holy cow.
why do you feel compelled to do it?
Just it's for therapy. A little bit about my past. My brothers and I, we moved around a whole lot when we were kids, and we had a rough childhood, and it really wasn't our parents' fault. We didn't always live with them, but man, thinking about programs like this, and we're actually launching a free art therapy center for children next year called the Oopsie Daisies, and that's the big dream. That's the big dream. But when I rope it all up into everything, just a bundle of my past. I was in the war. I went to Iraq. I was in the army for a long time. I had a lot of drinking problems. When you bundle all that stuff up and I try to put a treatment plan to it, it's so much easier to do with something creative like building a mural or building art or putting something out there where you can be proud of and you can show off and everybody that you want can be involved with it. And that's kind of, I may not have answered the question there.
No, I think you did perfectly.
Okay.
I think you did perfectly. Whose idea was it originally? It was like kind of a combination. The first spark, I guess, was it you, and then you added to it, or
I don't the TED Talk for sure,
TED
or
Talk.
the TED Talk, but mostly it was Beau.
It was one of the things that Sarah and we lived in Pine Bluff for a little while. We attended a church down there just for a bit, but they had moved in. They were brand new to Pine Bluff. They had raised a bunch of money, and there was some sections of Pine Bluff that they wanted to go in and repair. People still lived there, and I remember hearing this story, and the lady was just so appalled because the first 5 or so houses they went to, they were chased out of the yards. People didn't want their help. They didn't want the handout. And so ever since that TED Talk and since seeing that in Pine Bluff, I've been deflated. Like, well, how do you get an idea out there like this to where people are okay with you saying, hey, can I paint your business for you? No, get out of here, no job. I don't want that. But you're not giving things away. But that, I think the solution formed over 3 years, and it clicked with me one day, and it was signs, and I got scared because I was like, holy cow, that seems to be the piece that I've been searching for the last 3 or 4 years that we've been searching for. So I told her, and we both sat staring at each other silent for a while. And from then, it was just both of us was like, holy cow, it's Idea City. It went off, it took off from there.
And this isn't y'all's first experience in a nonprofit, right?
And we've worked with one before. sheepdog impact assistance. They work with first responders and veterans to help to their slogans get off the couch. And so there's lots of folks that endure trauma um, in the military, but also prior to military. Bo's a perfect example of that. Um, but just getting people not necessarily out in the community, but in outdoors, because outdoors is where a lot of healing can happen. And then when you have that camaraderie, and you end up finding at least like one or two veterans or first responders that have similar experiences to you. I know when I went on a couple outings, I was able to bond with a couple folks to where we were just similar. We had some things to share, and then that that meeting, that what is it, that experience it's just what it needed to be. Like one of them was where we were climbing into a cave, and I'm claustrophobic. No idea why I'm claustrophobic, but there was a very, very small opening. We had to low crawl into it. And so that's something where I felt compelled to challenge that anxiety, to challenge whatever that fear was, wherever it came from. And I felt really accomplished afterwards. It was pretty neat. So, but yeah, it's it's a great nonprofit that we've been with, but um, so they're in Central Arkansas, over in Little Rock, and we had been officers for the short time when the chapter was kind of being revamped, and so we did that, but also we learned a bit about burnout, and so that's a part of why we kind of retracted from them a bit. Like a lot of it was we ended up burning ourselves out driving back and forth, and it was all I don't know. I don't want to say they became thankless, but it just became more stress and more effort than what it was worth because we were no longer really participating in those outdoor adventures. It's more like we were putting them on. We're trying to people to get those things done. So being behind the scenes, it's a lot more than just being one of the participants and kind of going with the flow because you have somebody directing you where to go and
Oh yeah,
you don't have to worry about
You
it.
see this a lot in skydiving, which is where I met Beau. That people you start off as a fun jumper, and then people like Zach. I'm not saying he's burnt out, but now he's doing everything. He's an instructor. He's doing tandems, or he's about to do a tandem course. It becomes a job, All this different set of responsibilities. You start having to be there every weekend, regardless of how you feel. So I totally get that, but it's probably given you a lot of experience, hopefully experience with nonprofits, and better equips you.
And with balance too, trying to find that balance of life of work and play and being able to say no when you're already tapped out instead of just like being the yes man and okay, let's do it, I'm going to keep going, and just so you end up building up some sort of resentment and like kind of like this this is going to be too much. But it was great working with them, working for them, and then now we've been able to evolve on our own with our own healing journeys. We've been able to go through, and I don't know, I feel like it's meant to be.
Another thing is that we've learned is that we both want to stay at home. And while sheepdog impact assistance is phenomenal, it's a hard drive. So in order to see the difference we're making, the thankless part is in Northwest Arkansas, you can go and drive around. You can go see something that you've been a part of, or even in Little Rock, or just anything like that. And around here, it's a little bit limited. There's no sheepdog impact assistance really. They're not a heavy presence around here. So we came home and we kind of started working with the American Legion. So post 20s,
22.
Post 22 here in Russellville, and we wanted to bring it home. And working with them, just a little bit we have over the last year has given us a lot more than we got a little bit out of the sheepdog because we get to stay at home. Lunch break, you drive 10 minutes to go eat at home. And you see the stuff you're doing in the community here where we live. And we're both god awful at asking for donations and just about as bad selling t-shirts and merchandise. You don't get much from your merchandise, but you got to find ways, creative ways to get a little bit of money here and there. And that wasn't for us. So when we continued to put our heads together to design this, that was one of the things that we're both happy that we get to eliminate the idea that we're soliciting for nonprofit. We don't go around asking people for money. Instead, we get to say, hey, we're here with app. We would love to help you get your space painted, including financially. We're not with we don't have to walk around with our hands out.
Nice, nice. Are there any like key areas in town that you got in your sights? I think the skate park would be cool. You know, skate park has had a history of just graffiti, vandalism,
Huh.
you know, but especially if you somehow incorporated that community,
Well,
I'm sure they would love it.
we're actually launching our children's program. Like we have we're I guess a coalition with the school. We're teaming up with the school in March to launch a paint festival. I don't know what you call it. What were we calling it? Paint the Skate. It's called the Arkansas Paint Project 2024 Paint the Skate, I think. Man, I've been paint. Regardless,
Paint the skate park.
the skate rink, because their skate rink. And so our first big event involving children will be in March. We haven't planned that fully, but that's over 320 feet of exterior paint space that we have to offer in March. And so before that, we'll be looking for stuff like the paint park and other things. And we won't be the ones painting. We'll just be the ones pointing the painters where to go.
We're the liaisons.
Yeah.
We're the I don't want to call it management, because that can also lead to people thinking about micromanagement, but it's more like a hands-off thing. Like, okay, here's your task, run with it. If you have questions, come back and ask.
I like that. Oh, yeah, liaison. We're the liaisons.
Yeah, yeah. The skate park in Russellville, it was donated by the Tony Hawk Foundation, so they like build skate parks all across the country.
Wow.
And I think some of it was like there's a board out there with sponsors that may have matched certain donations, but it would be cool. It would be cool to see.
Absolutely.
I don't know how you can go about that. I
I
guess
do.
that's where y'all.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Awesome. So right now, if someone's listening to this and they want to be a part of it, say as a homeowner or a business owner, where should they start at?
Well, we're gonna open our doors, I think, on Wednesday. I hope on Wednesday, maybe tomorrow. But just keep an eye on our Facebook page of Arkansas Paint Project, and also our website is arkansaspaintproject.org, and it has a sign up area there. And I'm collecting everybody's information for when we do launch. I'll send out an opening email. We have a breakfast pancake meet and greet.
Yeah, on Saturday at 10.
The 28th, right?
No, 18.
What's this Saturday?
This Saturday.
Where at?
Yes. At our office.
The office right over here.
Yes, we're right next to Fat Daddy's, the white building.
Awesome. Yeah. Pancakes. What else do you got?
Waffles.
Pancakes and waffles.
We can't cook in the building, so we're gonna have to be pretty creative, and we're busting them in with boxes, and we'll have toasters available and stuff like that. So
So juice, coffee, tables, chairs.
Awesome. And like the final vision, a vision for Russellville and this community, like a few years down the line, what do you want the community to look like visually?
Oh,
You just want to walk around and see color.
I want more than anything. I want to see people outside. I want to see every single square inch that can be a beautiful art walk or a space for people to enjoy, for them to do that. And paint is where I think we can start.
Yeah.
Art.
And for people that want to paint something, but maybe aren't necessarily artists, or maybe some stuff you're planning, like with classes and stuff, like hey, come and
people like me. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I can do abstract stuff. Like just grab some paint and then paint it on, smush it with another paint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I promise you don't have to be an artist to do this, and I'm gonna do some stuff too. Once cities get to start working with us, then we'll have you'll be able to come into our office and say, hey, what's out there that I can paint? And hopefully here soon we'll have binders showing you what the city has allowed us to donate to the community. So even if you can't do a great paint job, maybe you can do something really neat with a park bench that nobody else has thought of. It doesn't necessarily have to be paint. You can go out there and do some stuff with lights. Of course, it has to be approved. Of course, it can't be vandalism. But you don't have to be an artist, and not only that, but what sparks inspiration, like going out there with a group of people and having an artist tell you that you don't have to be an artist. Get in here, get your hands dirty, let's get some stuff done.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. Is there anything else that you think we should talk about? Anything else you think we should cover?
Oopsie daisies at all?
Oh, yes. Oopsie daisies. So, Linda's Oopsie daisies. Linda,
I have an idea.
oh,
If you want to introduce our paint thing on Tuesday, or on Thursday, the paint party, and you can say it's being called Linda's Light,
okay.
and then go from Linda's Light into explaining the reason we're calling, oh, by the way, that's Linda from Linda's Oopsie Daisies.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Well, let's talk about Oopsie Daisies. Yeah, just introduce it to the audience here.
Okay. So on Thursday night, we're having a little paint party, and it's called Linda's Light. And with who Linda is, it's Linda Urena, and she passed away just over a year ago. And she was our supervisor while in our master's program for social work. And she had retired medically because she had some stuff going on, and then just less than a year after that, she passed away in her sleep. So, with her husband's permission, with Kevin's permission, we asked if we could open up like kind of a foundation in her honor so that kids can receive free art therapy. And being a therapist and working with insurance, it can be a pain in the butt. I'd rather not go into it, but it can be a pain, and nobody needs to be turned away for lack of insurance, or if people can't pay out of pocket too. So with having free art therapy, we bring the kiddos in for 16, 21 weeks. We haven't quite got into the details of that, but that's the general thing, is that we want them to be able to participate in individual therapy, group therapy, and even work to get the families involved too, because a lot of parents will bring in their kids and be like, hey, fix my kid. Like the kid's not necessarily the problem. Like where the problem comes from is, it can be the environment, it can be a parent, it could be something that happened to the kid outside of the home, and they're having behavior issues and parents don't understand what's going on. And so they're like, okay, well, fix my kid. And it can't just be fix my kid thing. The parents, whenever I work with kiddos, I try to get the parents as involved as possible, because otherwise I'm just doing damage control with, well, this happened this week and this blah blah blah, and it's not as helpful as when the parents are being in it. And it's great when you can see the relationship between the parent and the child begin to grow, and the kid begins to learn to trust their parents, or trust whatever it was that had helped them, because now they've learned coping skills and have gone through a couple different modalities of therapy to help them through it.
And with Linda, when we first started in our graduate program, we were lucky to see the compassionate side of it, because there's so much burnout in therapy simply because of the hassle of insurance. And while it's not always, suggested, I guess, but our supervisor said you have to look past that sometimes. If she had someone that she's seen and she knows they're in trouble, and they come in and say, oh, by the way, my insurance dropped me, I can't afford this anymore, I have to stop this. She told us, you have to, it's your clinician, it's your professional clinical opinion, but she always advised in care. She wanted us to care for people. She hated turning children away. She thought of the name Oopsie Daisies for something like that. She came up with the name Oopsie Daisies to be part of the Arkansas Tech University Walk into the Darkness suicide prevention campaign. I guess it's an actual organization. And so that's where her heart was with people rather than making the money. And that's part where she didn't have a big problem teaching us that part. She was just like, you've got to take care of people. Insurance makes it too challenging, and it's nothing bad against that. It just reduces opportunity for people. Not only that, I mean, if it's too difficult for the parents to get children to therapy, or people in general, then therapy is a burden. And there's a huge problem right there immediately. And so, with a program that we design and we keep an eye on, then we might be able to mitigate against that kind of pressure too. We might be able to collect gas cards for the family. We might be able to get other resources, get groceries taken care of. So it's not always a problem to get their kid to where their kid needs to be. And the family might be able to join in too. And that's going to be a huge plus for us. I think a lot of people see that.
Yeah, that's my
Potential
hope
there.
is to get the family involved because, well, big sister or little brother's going to therapy, and then oldest one or the other ones aren't. And like, what the heck? So it's really good to help to integrate the entire family so they can learn that they can get along, and they can love each other, and they can move through difficult things too, rather than things just blowing up and
Mm.
oh, this is a pattern that I'm going to carry on because mom did it, because grandma did it, because yada yada.
And once this really blows up, it's not just going to be children. It's going to be programs for offenders or addicts or any number of things. And it's not going to just be paint. It's not going to just be. I mean, it can end up being woodwork. We can find therapists at this point when you start changing the path or molding a new path for yourself. You get so much more freedom. So a therapist has a 50-minute hour. They're stuck to using 50 minutes for a session. Well, who says that has to be that the law? Well, designing your own program and getting involved in your own program, you have that freedom. And if you're not into painting, then whatever other kind of art, there can be poetry, there can be writing, there can be music. Art is therapy. All art is therapy.
Absolutely. And you said 2024 kind of on the Oopsie Daisies timeline.
Mhm.
It's great. Y'all are doing some great stuff.
Thank you.
You know, it's I think the community of Russellville and even Arkansas is lucky to have both of you,
Thank you.
Thank you.
and excited to see what this next year brings.
I am too.
For sure, for sure.
Anything else y'all want to hit on? Again, if you're listening and you want to learn more about this, you can go to Arkansas Paint Project on Facebook, on Instagram.
No Instagram.
No Instagram, just Facebook,
Yes.
and or Google, right? Google
Yeah.
it as well. But we go to Facebook, and whether or not you want to, contribute in some way with space or to get involved in some of the projects, do some painting, reach out to Beau and Sarah Gumm.
Absolutely.
Can I have one more thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The photography competition.
Oh yes.
December 1st, the art walk in Russellville. The American Legion, Post 22, Russellville, with the Arkansas Paint Project, we're teaming up to host an amateur photography competition. And we don't have the rules just yet. We want it to be a new photo, nothing challenging. It's just something that anyone can really do. Anyway, we don't have the registration dates or times up yet, but we'll have that available. But it's going to be $10, and you'll just swing by our office with a $10 entry fee and a 12 by 12 inch printed photo, and we'll take it. And we've got big plans with involving all of downtown during the community walk, or the art walk, I'm sorry, where anyone that wants to participate can host and have a few easels in their shop with some of the photos. So people can come to our office on December 1st, get the paperwork they need, and then get to go around and check out these guys' photos, and then come back and they'll vote on them. So at the end of the art walk, we'll announce a winner. There'll be a cash prize, and then there'll be trophies for first, second, and third. And we'll be able to announce that. We'll be part of the American Legion, and Main Street Russellville will hopefully be a part of it as well. We've already talked about it with them, but we don't know how involved they could be. They're very busy people.
Awesome. Sounds like a good time. And have you heard of the I Love Russellville thing we were doing? That website?
Yes.
We should definitely, let's see y'all get going. I mean, that whole idea is just like put community photos on that website for free,
Yeah.
Definitely should get a lot of y'all stuff on there, even from this
Yeah.
contest. That's something we've been lacking on since we launched that website. I've just been so busy with other things. I haven't gotten enough photos on there. So we can definitely figure out a way to plug a lot of what y'all are doing on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's community and networking and connecting people. Really that's how we can work to heal, if anything, is that when morale is low in a town, It's like nobody wants to put in the effort, but if morale is boosted, and it's boosted just when I drive through other communities, like Fort Smith, I guess they have a ton of murals that are going on. But every time I see color in different communities, it makes me excited. I want to check it out and look at it. I take pictures. I show my friends, and so that's what I imagine happening, at least starting in Russellville.
Awesome stuff, y'all. Awesome stuff. Well, thanks for joining us on the podcast. And again, everybody, go check them out.